If that's 3A, then a single A would be 16,000. And if that's 16,000, that makes this... Hey, this is Avi Gutman with another Ask Me Anything event brought to you by quantreasoning.com. I invite you to join me live next time. We do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and you can attend for free by starting your free trial at quantreasoning.com. So I see JD's question there in a chat regarding the time period that we're talking about. So let's read the question very carefully here. It says during 2005, so during means from January 1st until December 31st of 2005, a company produced an average of 2,000 products per month. If I were to pause at the period, what inference, if any, do you think could be made there? If we know the average per month, then we can infer that the total for the year is 12 times that much, so 24,000. And then I keep reading. How many products will the company need to produce from 2006? And what do they mean by that, from 2006? Is that January 1st, 2006? Is it July 13th, 2006? Is it December 31st, 2006? Well, it doesn't say. It just says from 2006 through 2008. Pause there and let's see if we can interpret what that means. So based on that, we're talking about a full 3 years. All of 2006, all of 2007, all of 2008. Which, looking at the chat box, is exactly what JD thought it was. But he's asking, how can we be sure?
Is this Jan 1st, 2006 through December end 2008? Or is it through Jan 1st, 2006 to Jan 1st, 2008. I think that's where I struggled on this one.
The meaning of the word through in this context is that we're talking about all the way to the end of 2008. That's what that word means. So I keep reading. In order to increase its monthly average, reminding myself the monthly average was 2,000, we want to increase that for which period? Let's highlight the period we're talking about because this is going to be important. We're talking from 2005 through 2008. So that's 4 years. That's 48 months. And the very first period that they were talking about in the first line of text is a subset of the period that they're asking about. Right? The first line of text is talking about the first year out of 4 years, and they're asking about those 4 years. But then I guess what they're really asking, how many products in the latter part, in the last 3 years of a 4-year period. And what our goal is, so I'm imagining that we're the board of directors of this company, or we're the CEO or something like that, and it looks like we have a goal, which is to take our monthly production average and increase it by 200% from where it was in 2005. But careful, we want it to be 200% more than what it was for the whole 4 years, including 2005 within it. So we've got a weight coming from the first year. And let's see if we can put some numbers to this. So this horizontal line is the overall average for the 4 years. We've got one weight, and I suppose you would say we have 3 balloons. And these 3 balloons have to be identical because we're talking about an average over those 3 years. So 3 identical balloons. Let's see if we can put some numbers to this. We know the monthly production rate in the first year was 2,000, so we can put a number there. And what's the number that you would put in for the average, for the overall average for the 4 years? We got to be careful there. Let me build a ratio table real quick, because a 200% increase, or 200% over, as usual, I'll use 100 for my starting point, and then what's 200% more than 100? In other words, we're adding 200 to 100. That gives us 300, so that's a ratio of 3 to 1. And then we'd say, well, if the actual number here is 2,000, this is going to be triple that, so 6,000. Yeah. And that goes, we have a delta there of 4,000 below, which means that each of these deltas will be how much? 1,333 and a third, each of those. So that's 1,333 above 6,000. So that's 7,333. That's each of these. And remember, that's monthly. Now, the question wanted to know how many products will the company need to produce in the entire 36 months. So I have to multiply this number by 36 to get the answer. Any thoughts about what we could do differently to not have to multiply 7,333 by 36? Are you suggesting that maybe I should keep this as a fraction? Does anybody here have memorized 6 cubed? It is one of the things we should memorize. And the reason I ask is because here I have 6 squared multiplied by 6. That's 6 cubed. That's 216. So we have 216,000 plus, and then how do you multiply these? Would you reduce the 3? Reduce the 3 there, so you've got 4 times 12, which is 48. So 216 plus 48, that's the answer.
How would you add that? I mean, without putting pen to paper, I guess 216.
We just add 50 and then take away 2. So I think this is a perfectly fine solution. It's not what I would have done, but it's perfectly fine. It does require you to be quick with the arithmetic, though, to solve it in 2 minutes, right? So what I would have done is I would have said, look, in that first year, which really wasn't very good because we want to increase our production by 200%, in that first year I produced 24,000. The question is about what I have to do in those 3 years. So I know that the average is going to be 3 times closer to the question mark, to the 3-year mark, than it is to the starting point. So I would say that, this distance is 3 times as long as this distance. As you can call them, 3A versus A. But yeah, yearly production, exactly. Now, we want the yearly production over the entire 4 years to be 200% more than this, so that would be 72,000. That's the overall yearly production that we want over the 4 years. What would this number be? Well, if 3A is this distance, right? What is that distance? It's 48,000. If that's 3A, then a single A would be 16,000. And if that's 16,000, that makes this 88,000. And then the correct answer should be triple this number. So how would I triple this number? I would pretend that it's 90. Tripling that gets me to 270, take away 6, and I'm done. So that's how I would have solved it. It's maybe a bit faster, and maybe requires a bit less arithmetic. Why did I choose to work with the bigger numbers, the annual numbers, rather than the monthly numbers? I don't really have a good answer for that. I think that either one is fine. It turns out that with the monthly numbers, you'd end up with non-terminating decimals, right? Or, fractions with a 3 in the denominator. So in this case, it turned out probably better that I used the annual figures rather than the monthly figures. But if you do find yourself having to deal with annoying fractions, you can always expand and do it this way, for example, right? Expand by a factor of 12, so you're talking about annual production levels instead of monthly. If you found this video useful, go to quantreasoning.com for a lot more where that came from. You should also click that like button and let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to make future videos about. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that and click that bell below so you get notified about future videos. See you next time.